Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. And I thought to myself, I crashed out earlier. I'm going to do another little live. Um, Basically, West Ham are back to being massive again after such a short spell. And really, if I'm being truthfully honest, we've done really well. I see Dylan's in the chat. Don't worry about it, Dylan. You can't help fools. Some people are fools. And what people don't understand is I've got quite a big family and they're everywhere. But anyway, moving on to more positive things. And today was a great day. Dylan, if you want to come in the chat, have a chat about football or anything, this is a late night show. This ain't just about West Ham. This is about anything. You're more than welcome to come in, mate. But yeah, looking back over the game, now I've seen the game sort of a rerun of the game. We played pretty damn well today, I must admit, and we looked the part. We really did. Watford were poor. I can't take nothing away from that. They were pretty bang average, if I'm being honest. I think they're in trouble if they continue to play like that for the rest of the season. But in the grand scheme of things, we done well. We done well, and do you know what? Fully deserved from the boys. I'm seeing a lot of praise from Mark Noble tonight. I think Mark Noble deserves a lot of praise. He hasn't played since Zagreb. But I think he come on today and he started from the front and he played like the Mark Noble that we all know. He's going to be a sad day when he's not here no more. It really is. And when his final game against Manchester City at home this season and Brighton is the final game of his West Ham career, basically, there will be a lot of tears shed for Mark Noble for what he has done with West Ham. He's not always been everyone's favourite cup of tea. He's not always been the man that everyone can go, you know what? He's the one that is going to push us on, but he has been a man that sort of, in the grand scheme of things, has done pretty damn well when he has put his heart and soul into it. So for me, that might be his last ever goal for West Ham. So we've got to cherish that moment. I might as well get on to the man that everyone's going to be raving about, and that's Nikola Vastic. And I've got to admit, he comes on, he scores a goal. You've got to praise him when he does well, and you've got to criticise him when he don't. People keep saying about the word consistency. I keep hearing the word consistency from people quite a lot. People turn around and saying, well, we need to be more consistent. Certain players, individuals need to be more consistent. There is only really one consistent player at West Ham United Football Club, and that's Declan Rice. That's the only one who I look at and go, he's guaranteed to perform every single game. I don't think Declan Rice has had a rating below 7 out of 10 on any of the rating shows. And it ain't because he's Declan Rice and he's everyone's favourite son and he's an hero, he's this, he's that. I think it's just for the sheer fact he's a top quality player. We have a top quality player. Do you know what I mean? So when I look at consistency, I see Bowen getting there. I think Bowen was very, very good today. Extremely good. And I look at him, he's getting there. But there's some games where like the Arsenal game, he tried, but there was nothing. Burnley, he tried, there was nothing. Brighton, he tried again. He's a trier. One thing I will say with Bowen, he's a trier. He puts his heart and soul into absolutely everything. And he's like a Duracell battery. He just don't stop. I bet Danny's very happy with that. But for me, personally, he's getting to a level where I think we all knew as West Ham fans he will get to, right? He will maintain that with Rice. But I think other players in the team have stepped up also. I think Benrahma has stepped up to a point. I think people will criticise him saying he has to be more consistent, he has to be more this, more that. Same old crap, really. But I don't know what more this kid's got to do. Right, has he got to score a goal every single game so people appreciate that he's quite a decent player? Do you know what I mean? I honestly don't know. I don't know what people will expect of him either. Like, he's going to make mistakes, he's going to make bumps in the road, he's going to do wrongful passes, but you got to give the geezer credit where credit is due. Do you know what I mean? Listen, one thing with me, and which I've always said, is if he plays crap, you get told he gets played crap. I won't just sit on the fence because I like him as a player. But some people just seem to sort of wear their goggles and glasses and whatnot and see things completely in a different attitude, so to speak. But listen, Benrahma's 2-2 now. It's a shame that the form's coming right now. I've got to admit, we needed him 2, 3, 4 games ago to come in here and sort this out, but he's starting to do it now before he goes to African Cup of Nations, which is ironic, so to speak. But I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's performing, and I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. As I say, I've got a little bet going at the start of the season with Saïd Benrahma, and I've got a 40-1 shot on him to score 10 goals this season. Now, if someone would have said to me at the start of the season, you're going to get to the 29th of December and he's going to be on 5 goal zones, would you accept that? I think I would have done 100%. He's still got to play Norwich twice. He's still got to play Watford again. I believe he can get them 5 goals. I believe this season was his breakout season. He hasn't been vintage, Benny, but he's been not bad. He's been not bad. But people still don't see the hype that I see. I must not know nothing about football then, obviously. But moving on from him, I thought Antonio today was extremely better than he has been in recent games. Mikel Antonio is a polarising figure, mate. He's either you love him as a player who's been here for a long time. He's West Ham's record goal scorer in the Prem. He's done good things with West Ham. He's with West Ham some great memories, i.e. against Tottenham. Done a lot of good things, Mikel Antonio. But I think some people will get a bit blinded by he's a good player, Mikel Antonio, but we need an upgrade on Mikel. Today I thought he was good. I must admit, he had a lot of grief for their centre half, as I said earlier in the afterthought. But for me, I thought he was decent. And I can't knock him. I thought he was good. I thought he got about the pitch. What I liked about him today is he done his striker role well, and he just stayed in the middle of the pitch or the middle of the goal and turned and run instead of going left and right and drifting and going all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Trying to hurry and chase the ball down. So yeah, on Mickey, I'm pretty happy that performance, 100%. Moving into with Souček today, I've seen a lot of fan cams and stuff from other platforms, etc. And a lot of people are saying very similar things to what I said earlier. Is there a problem with Souček and Rice, with Declan Rice wanting to go forward and being that advancing player, and Souček not being a very good DM? Now, people can say about what's happened before. They can turn around and say, you know what, Declan Rice is a world-class player, which he is. But Declan Rice might just have to sit there and be a defensive midfield player, in my opinion. It's a tough one. You see Souček today, that was Souček of last season. A nuisance everywhere, both boxes. And for me, I just don't understand how it can polarise difference. Now, I've had debates with Daya. Me and Daya, I've sat there and had to listen to tactics boards and crap like that. And today proved what I have always believed. And that is that when you've got two players who are always want to be advanced, you're going to have an open gap in midfield. And that is the problem. Mark Noble today sat in midfield dictated the tempo of the game, didn't go anywhere into their sort of final third, so to speak. And he was like a general in there, just like calm, composed, everything. Now, Thomas Suchek was everywhere, runs everywhere. And the problem is, if you hold Thomas Suchek back from going forward, then he's really not a very good DM. So for me, there's an issue there. There is an absolute bang on issue when it comes to Rice and Suchek. And when I do see that, I see an issue where someone has got to sit down with the pair of them and say, right, this is your role. This is what you've got to do. You've got to sit there, right, and stay, Declan. I know you want to go forward. I know you want to do this box-to-box thing, but until we play a system that is really Declan Rice as a number 8, which Afa said earlier on, then basically he has to sit as a DM. Do you know what I mean? Epic hash time, spot on. Hope Declan's ego isn't going to be a problem. The kid needs to defend. I agree, mate. I agree. I love Declan Rice to bits. I think Declan Rice is an absolute leader. I think he's world class. I think he's top class. Cannot praise the kid up enough. This is not a criticism of Declan Rice. Far from it. I do rate him. I really do. But there's been games this year where I've watched them two, and the Brentford game always comes to mind for me, where Declan Rice was going forward and Suchek was sitting as a DM, and they was both out of position. And this is why Declan Rice is running all over the gaff, left, right. He's all over the place, because I like it that if Declan Rice is a DM, he can dictate play, he can do the passes, he can see the whole front of the pitch, like of the attacking players. So Declan Rice is the sort of player who can pick out players with vintage passes, like with Hollywood passes, so to speak. But for me, it just proved it today. I looked at that. Like, Noble was in there. And let's be honest, I think any West Ham fan watching this, or any West Ham fan around the world, would have seen Mark Noble in there today and would have been concerned. They would have been massively concerned. They would have been thinking, this man has not played since Zagreb of the youth setup. Can he cut it? Are we going to get overrun? Thomas Suchek hasn't exactly played a masterclass, so to speak. And today sort of showed me, like, that when I'm having debates with Daya, when I'm having these debates with other YouTube channels, that I'm not talking bollocks. I'm talking facts, that it's because of our midfield where Declan Rice wants to go forward and try and be that ultimate all-round player. That is the reason why there is issues. And that's why teams go straight through the middle of us. Because technically we've got 6 players going forward. You've got the front 4 and you've got Suchek and Rice. And that's why we're getting exposed. So that is really how I feel on that. I'll get into your comments because obviously I can't leave you waiting in the chat. Do you think Krell done okay? I think Krell's needs time. I did like him on the pitch, I must admit. I love his hairdo. But we all love the old SpongeBob or Sideshow Bob type look. But the problem is with me is, have we seen enough of him to buy him? And the answer to that is no. Hopefully in 2022 we see a bit more of Alex Krell. John T. Hi James, great shows you've been putting on, pal. Mentioned this earlier, Suchek and Rice need to communicate. It's like two cricket batsmen, one saying yes, run, and the other saying no, wait, confusion. Totally agree, John. I really do. I really do appreciate you liking my shows. I really do mean that. Also, just wanted to put something there. But yeah, at the end of the day, when I look at it, it proves it to me right now, like what we're talking about tonight. And when I look at Suchek and Rice, I feel they've been massively found out. And people say, oh no, they haven't been found out, they haven't done this. Today just proved it to me. He just proved it all day long. How Mark Noble can come into a team, sit there, right? And listen, people can say Watford weren't all that. Fair enough. I agree. Watford were very, very poor. But Mark Noble wasn't very, very poor. And Mark Noble hasn't played since December the 6th or 7th, I think it was, beginning part of December against Zagreb in the team for the youngsters. So I don't understand it. But say what Epic just said, I just hope there ain't a bit of an ego problem where a player wants to be this ultimate player, but it's jeopardising the team. And that's what I hope it isn't. Declan Rice is a better defenseman than Souček. He's a natural box to box. It should be a no-brainer. I agree. I really, really do. I cannot agree with that any more than what everyone else is saying. When I do look at them, I look at it as like, how can anyone? People say they want Rice going forward, yeah, because they want him to be progress. Listen, he's progressed rapidly in 4 years. 4 years ago, he started his career with a 4-0 defeat at Liverpool, got absolutely slapped, right? And basically, that's what it was. Now, he's progressed a lot better. He's turned into this box-to-box player. He's turned from a defender into a DM. I know we all want him to be this sort of ultimate Yaya Toure, Steven Gerrard type player where he's going to be absolutely first class. But what is that? What good is that if we don't win games and we don't get where we want to be? Do you know what I mean? For me personally, I don't want him to build him up and then he goes, "Oh, see you later. I'm going to Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, or wherever." I don't think he would do that. But there is a problem in that central midfield area, and you just see it today. What striker do we get? Any striker who can score some goals will be good. Saïd Benrahma. Can't wait to see our previews this week. That dropped him again. Yeah, I agree. I see a lot of people, critters, saying about and Luke Legends in the house. How you doing, mate? I see a lot of people saying about Benny, and for me, me and Scotty Venn, this man here, have been banging the drum for Benrahma from minute one. I class Scott as a friend. I speak to Scott privately, and we've had many discussions, me and Scott, about it. Right, and I can understand people's criticism of Benrahma, but sometimes I just think he's an easy scapegoat, so to speak. He's an easy one. Like, let's target him because he's an easy one to go at. Like, no one will ever criticise Declan Rice for anything because he very rarely does anything wrong. Mikel Antonio, if you criticise him, then you're like the worst person on the planet. Do you know what I mean? And then Pablo Fornals, who sadly has got COVID now, as like, can't criticise him because he's everyone's West Ham's favourite son. So it's like Saïd Benrahma, the manhunt on him, so to speak. And listen, at the end of the day, he hasn't been vintage this year, but he hasn't been shit. That is now 8 goals in all competitions. But people want him to be consistent, and that's the issue I can't understand with when it comes to the Benrahma thing. I really can't. I really don't get it. But has he got to score 20 goals this season for people to start going, you know what? Yeah, Benny's done all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've seen many stuff. People saying, drop him, he's no good, sell him. I'm thinking to myself, you do YouTube channels and you get hits for talking that bollocks. I'm sorry, but if you're talking that bollocks, how do you get paid for that? Which they do, these individuals. So for me, I look at it and I think, how can you just keep banging on about a player who scored 8 goals this season? People criticised him last season because he didn't score 1. He scored 8 this season, and people still criticise him. I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't want to make it all about Benny, even though I think Benny's a very, very good player. And I will back him up to the hill. And I will cash my bet very, very soon when he scores them 10 goals. But going away from sort of our attackers, I want to go into our defence a little bit. And personally, Issa Diop is the man that I'm going to be coming at right now. What's going on? What is going on with Issa Diop? And I'll get this out before I go into the chat. But I've backed Issa Diop up. He's been here since 2018, I believe. He was a Pellegrini signing. He come in. He had a very good first season at West Ham. After that, he sort of lost his confidence, lost his way. Obviously, Kirk Zuma come in. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Jordan's just put there. He saw him on Tinder the other day. Right? This man, right? He needs to. One thing someone said in my comments earlier was that he's got no aggression in his body. Like there's no sort of Dawson will header the ball with false. Issa will let the ball hit his head. And it was, I remember that comment and I think, no, what, you're pretty bang on the money there. But there's a problem with Issa Diop. And where do we go with him? Right, he is all over the place. The problem is, if you've got the two defenders in hand, so to speak, you know Craig Dawson's a backup £2.2 million signing. You know that he is what he is. He's a backup. He's not. He shouldn't be first choice at West Ham. He should be nowhere near the first team. Obviously, we've got injuries, but he should be nowhere near it. But he is what he is. The difference is, Issa Diop's a younger player. He's cost a lot more money, and he looks worse than Craig Dawson. And for me, I don't like to admit this, but I feel his time will come to an end in the summer. I think we will get money or do a swap deal with someone for someone else. It's a shame, really. I don't see. I see one good game from him, and I look at him and I think to myself, what is going on? Like, you will play a masterclass game against someone, and then you will go completely missing. Like, you will go all over the place, and today was another thing. Right, he'd done it against Southampton. When I watched the game back against Southampton, I see him again. He was poor again. Today, he's just. Sissoko has a chance from outside the box, and Fabianski makes a save. I think it was at 2-1 or 3-1, and he's literally slicing it to their player. It's like, that's Championship defending, really. Right? Even worse still, even League One standard. Right now, I don't know what to say about Issa, really. I'm gutted very much that he's going the way he's going, but what would you do? People in the chat who's watching this right now, would you keep Issa at this club, or would you get rid of him now and bring in two centre halves? If someone said to me right now, you're going to go and collect a car out of Marseille and say one more centre half, say a James Tarkowski type player, and they said you've got to get rid of Issa, I think I would now. I think I just don't know where we go with him. Like, he's clumsy. I've tried my hardest to back him up. I've said that you've got to give this man time, but every single game West Ham play, I fear there's a goal. I really do. I fear there's a goal in our centre half pairing. And don't get me wrong, would Issa be better with Zuma? Of course he would. Yeah. And maybe I'm being a bit hasty in saying about getting rid of Issa. But Issa isn't helping himself. He should be taking the reins off of Craig Dawson and saying, right, I'm going to run the show now. I'm a younger player. He should be looking at Kirk Zuma and saying, right, I've played for France. I want to be like you. I just don't know what's going on with Issa. I really don't. I really, really don't. Let's get into your chat while I'm here. Right, we've got Benny. He loses the ball. He plays always poor position. Needs to fall back to help him out. John T, I want to say to Benrahma, take him on, mate. Appreciate always wants players to do a job defensively, but we also need players to frighten opponents. And I feel Benrahma and Bowen are those players. I agree. Jordan said he saw him on Tinder yesterday. Can we get back a lone defender? I'm not too sure, mate. Issa frustrates me on a few occasions today. His distribution was poor today. He seems to move the ball on every occasion. Yeah. Is it me? But Diop looks lost. Dawson seems to own him and looks scared. Yeah, I agree. Uh, Diop always looks relaxed. He is relaxed. I can hear it's like a recliner, mate. He's so relaxed. Evening, Jordan. Hope you're well, mate. Diop doesn't seem to like to work hard, basically. Hi, well, what we got here? Need Alves back. Let's have a look. Legend now. Issa looks a lot more comfortable with Zuma. I would say that, Scott. I would agree. I think when he was with Zuma, especially in Zagreb, I thought they looked quite a good pairing. The problem is that do you take the risk with him next season? With him at the minute, he's being this bad with Dawson. Like, I don't know. I just don't know on that one. Unfortunately, Reed was injury prone. We got Aki. He looks a class when he played them in the cup. So good on the ball. Looks so calm. I agree, mate. If Aki was to come up right now, and we went and got Aki, for instance, and say collect a car, I'd have some of that all day long. I really would. I would 100% have some of that. I believe that Aki could do a good job. I think he's wasted at City. I think he should be in the team first choice main man like Zuma. So that's what it would be with me. Epic. Diop looks good when he's paired with someone quick who can bail him out. When he makes mistakes, Dawson looks good when the guy next to him is reliable. Yeah, I agree. I really do, mate. What we got? Great news, Jordan. They're all talking about Jordan's got a bird or dating some bird, but anywho, yeah, me. Take care, Cyber. All the best, mate. Anyway, moving on. And yeah, talking about Issa, I move on to sort of Ben Johnson today, who, for me, he done a good job at left back. Arthur Mazuaku, I'm sorry, but I don't want to see him anymore at West Ham. He's been here a long time. He was signed in 2015, I believe. All right. And he was signed from Olympiacos, I think it was, for a small fee. And he's come here, and as a left back, who that's what his trade is, a left back. He is nowhere near a left back. He's not even a very good winger, in my opinion. I see him today, Arthur coming on, and I thought, thank God that Moyes' stubbornness and his sort of attitude has changed. I'm glad that he put Ben Johnson over on that side. I really do. I felt Ben passing today was a bit all over the place, down the line, down the sides. Wasn't exactly vintage. But I had this debate again earlier on. I was on a platform and I turned around and said, they said, oh, he weren't really good going forward, James. I said, I don't want my left back to go forward, mate. I want my left back to defend. Right, we've got 4 attackers up front. How many more players do we need to go forward to score a goal? Do you know what I mean? So I want me players to do the basics pretty decent first before we go on to something else. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if that basics means that Ben Johnson has to sit there and just be a defender, I'll accept that all day long. Do you know what I mean? I don't want Ben Johnson, Poxy going forward and leaving other people exposed. And in one way, I think it's a good thing because when you've got players like Issa Diop and Dawson at the back, I don't fancy that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Ben done decent today. He really did. And yeah, that's really it. Also, Fabianski today. I see a lot of people saying about Fabianski. Oh, he could have done better for the goal. He kept us in the game. Like that save he does against Sissoko, does a great save at the end. I don't know why people seem to dig at Fabianski. I don't know. I think it's because they want to see Areola. For me, I don't think we sign Areola. From what I've been hearing from people I know who's close to the club, that Areola is a non-starter at the minute for signing. I think there's a lot to do with wages and money, and I think Areola wants to be one of the highest paid players at the club, and obviously there's only one player who's going to be the highest paid player at the club. That's Declan Rice. But if West Ham are going to act like a big club, then they've got to sign this player up. I see Cyber there saying about Sam Johnson. I'm sorry, but I just do not rate the kid at all. I just do not rate him at all. I think he's in a poor team. He's a decent goalkeeper, but we've got France's potential number one in our ranks right now. Hugo Lloris, when he retires from international duty, Alfonso Areola will be the number one for France. And I don't understand why West Ham would just pay the money, get him here for 5-6 years, give him a 5-year deal, and he'll be our number one for the next 5 years. But it's a strange situation that it's a very much strange situation with the Areola one. It really is. If someone said to me right now, would you sign Areola right now? From what I've seen, I would, because I know there's a player there. But the difference is West Ham don't like to. West Ham give people like Yarmolenko deals, right? They don't see the basic in giving Areola a long-term deal, and we all know he's better. To me, if we go and sign Sam Johnson, I'm sorry, but it's a step down. It really is. I think you've gone from Areola, French international, to Sam Johnson, who, let's be honest, he's fourth or fifth choice England goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather go and sign Nick Pope than Sam Johnson, if I'm honest. If someone says to me, go and sign Nick Pope, I'll go, all right, fair enough. Yeah. Well, even he's in Burnley, he's wasted there, get him out of there. But the Areola thing, I think it's a non-starter myself. I really do. And if that is the case, I'll be disappointed. Do you know what I mean? I will be disappointed because we're letting go a very, very good player. It's all over the pound note yet again, which is sad, so to speak. Let's have a look at your comments, what you've just said. Let's have a look. Jordan says, James, it was a huge win today. I really hope we can just beat Crystal Palace and sign at least 2 or 3 players. I agree, Jordan. Hope you are well, mate. Fab made 2 or 3 world-class saves. I agree. I think we've missed a trick not signing Areola. He's most definitely the future. I agree, Scott. Problem is, it's all to do with money again, mate. As me and you both know, it's all to do with pound note. It's not big money for a club that pays contentious football. Yeah. The problem is though, Epic, and me and you both know, with West Ham, they don't do big money. They do cheap and cheerful like they always do, and that's how they are. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that Blackburn guy is good? I think Ben Brereton Diaz is very good. I think ever since before he was Chilean, he was a bang average Championship player. He's turned Chilean now, and he's turned into like some top class Lexi Sanchez type player. Do you know what I mean? Very good, very good. But is he a player that can come in and make an instant impact? I don't know. I like to think Moyes has sat Areola down and told him situation, you're my number one next year, for example. I agree, Scott. But he could tell him all that. But if Areola wants the wages that I'm hearing, like, then West Ham ain't going to pay it. They're just not going to pay it. Why would you go and pay silly money for a goalkeeper? You can go and get Sam Johnson on a free. Have no transfer fee, so to speak. He ain't going to demand higher wages, and basically he's just going to be like a young goalkeeper. He'll be here for 5-6 years, and then they're going to save themselves millions, basically. The problem is that's where West Ham don't act like a big club, and that's what irritates me. And that's where it goes back to the owners, and that's where it goes back to the Boleyn, because big clubs will go, right, we'll sign him because he's going to be top class. He's played for Real Madrid and PSG, for crying out loud. Sam Johnson's played for Doncaster Rovers and West Bromwich Albion. Who would you rather have? Do you know what I mean? We've got Fabianski's overrated. He makes spectacular saves, and people forget that he glued to the goal line, doesn't command the 6-yard box, concedes when his defenders make mistakes. I agree, Epic. I agree with that, but how can I put this? I agree with what you're saying, but Fabianski is what he is, isn't he? He's coming to the end of his career. Like if he was 30 years old, Fabianski, I would 100% agree with you. But I just feel with Fab, he doesn't deserve to be dropped because he hasn't really done a howler wrong. Like, he's done a few howlers this year, though. Mind Brentford game, the Manchester United game against Ronaldo when he pushed it straight back out in front. But if you want to progress, you've got to sign the best. And that's the way I look at it. Ben Johnson is more reliable defence. He can play left back or left sided centre back if required. Maswell cannot defend it as simple as that. I agree, mate. I totally agree, John. We got they're talking. Do what you think's best, mate. They're talking about relationship advice and all that. But when it comes to sort of Fabianski, and as I'm sort of coming towards the end of this late night chat, and I did stick the link in if anyone wanted to come in, but obviously no one can come in, so there's no worries at all. But yeah, and then finally, I'm going to leave it on this with Moyes. So as I've sort of come towards the end, I think Moyes done a good thing today. He decided not to be stubborn anymore. I feel that Moyes was becoming very, very stubborn in his ways. And when you're playing Arthur at left back, which I know it, you in the chat know it, all the people who are West Ham fans know that Arthur Masuaku is not a left back. How could David Moyes not see it? Right, I'm glad he bit the bullet today and went, right, Ben Johnson, get over on that left-hand side. And we looked a completely different team. We really did. He made a brave call today with Noble. But I think someone said it earlier on, was Noble in there because we had no captains on the pitch? I disagree with that. Craig Dawson could have been captain. Fab could have been captain. Kafal, Souček. We had players who could do a captain's role. But I think Moyes went, you know what? I'm going to put Noble in. And fair play to him. Fair play to him. He's persisted with, obviously, Lanzini. I thought was okay today. I thought he was pretty decent today. Wasn't masterclass, but wasn't poor. And the thing is with Lanzini, as I said on the player ratings earlier with Tom, and Tom was bang on the money what he said. It's like in 2 days we've seen the best and worst of Manuel Lanzini, and that's the problem. Like consistency, so to speak. But I thought he was decent. But I think Moyes got it bang on today. He's got a big game now against Palace before Benny goes to the African Cup of Nations. So I just hope that we can just get some players in. I want to see some signings at this club, and I will sort of come to the signings part of it towards the end of the show. But I think Moyes has decided now that I think Arthur is no more, which is good. He's got an interesting discussion to have with Declan Rice and Souček. I know that because I've heard the system talk. I've heard all this. I don't believe it. I believe that they're both too advanced, and that's why we're splitting wide open. But fair play to Moyes today. A little bit of praise for Moyes. I thought he done the right things, made the right subs, brought Vlasic on. Vlasic scored a goal. Yeah, and I've got to laugh at it because I know I'm going to get it when he starts performing. But do you know what I mean? I can take it. I'm a big boy. But I will say one thing. I'm glad he scored today, Nikola Vlasic. In all seriousness, I'm glad that he's got a goal because we're going to need him when Benny goes. Because listen, as West Ham fans, everyone who's watching this right now, we all know that our ball don't spend early; they always spend late, if they spend at all. So we need him to perform against Leeds in the cup and in the league. I I think we've got Manchester United in there and all. So we're going to need him to be confident and be up for it. So it's important that he scored today. I'm glad he did, even though it's a tap in, even though it was in the 93rd minute and Watford were literally down and out. At the end of the day, he scored. So you've got to give him credit where credit is due. So, yeah, well done, Moyes, on that. And finally, from me, on this late night edition, transfers. Now, in a few days' time, the window opens. We need to see some players at this club. There is no excuses from our owners, from Daniel, from anyone. I don't want to see people saying, "Oh, we can't go and get a striker. We can't go and get this." Right. First of all, I think we'd all agree we need a left back at this club right now. We need someone who's naturally a left-sided player. We need a good left back. Because Cresswell's out, and I don't think Cresswell's coming back anytime soon. So, for me, I want to see a left back at this club, 100%. I also want to see some sort of attacking threat off the bench. I don't want to see Yarmolenko ever again in a West Ham shirt. But from what I'm hearing, they ain't going to let him go because no one's going to buy him. So they're going to run his contract down. I don't think he's going to go. So I think we've just got to put up with him for another 6 months. It's goodbye from Yarmolenko. But we need a left back. We also do need a centre half at this club. And that is massively important. I've been banging the drum for a long time about certain players, but I think if we had a choice right now between Aki, Kaleta or Tarkowski, I think I would go and get Aki out of Man City. Would Man City give him to us? I don't think they would. I don't think they would send him to the summer. They are out the League Cup. They are out. They've got the Champions League. They're 6 points clear in the Prem. I feel that if we're going to get Aki, I think we get him in the summer. I think the man that we should get at this club is Kaleta. I think Vlasic is already here. I think hopefully Vlasic can have a word and say get over to the East End of London and come sign for us. He's a very, very good player, Kaleta. Solid. He's like Kirk Zuma type player. Rugged, determined, quick, decent, young. Yeah, pretty decent, pretty good. And we need someone at centre half level, 100%. Like, there's no two ways about it. If I don't see a centre half at this club and we're going to wait for Zuma to come back, then they're on drugs, all of them. So we need a left back. We need a centre half. The issue that I have moving forward into sort of midfield areas and going into up front is this man who keeps getting mentioned every 75 seconds on the tip of everyone's tongue when it comes to a transfer window, and that is Jesse Lingard. For me personally, I would listen. Jesse's 6 months ago or 9 months ago come into the club, 9-10 months ago, and he performed to a level that no one's ever seen, even at Manchester United. And I spoke to Manchester United fans about it. But I think with this love affair of Jesse Lingard coming in and all that, I think we just got to let it go now. I think we've got to go out and we've got to go and get the players that are required who want to come to West Ham. Right? We're in the last 16 of the Europa League, so we've got to treat that like it's the main thing now, because what's that, 4 games, and then we could possibly be fighting for a Champions League position. Now, if someone says to me right now, who do you want to go and get? If Jesse Lingard wants to come, he will make it known that he wants to come to West Ham. He will push the transfer through. I don't believe he wants to come to West Ham. I think he's going to see out his contract, and I think he goes off to somewhere in the summer with a large signing-on fee. So, for me, go and have a look at there's some youngsters in the Championship who are tearing it up. There's a geezer at Hull. I keep hearing 20-year-old Potter. I think his name is. Very, very good player. Keane Potter, I think his name is. Tidy as heck, mate. There's some players at QPR. Go and get some players in West Ham. Like, go and have a look. Like, we need a striker. Origi ain't coming to West Ham. He certainly is not coming in the January window, right? Because they're going to lose Salah. They're going to use Mane. They're gonna need him. So I can't see that happening. People ain't gonna like this, what I'm gonna say, but I would go and get Martial. I think Martial's a decent player. I just think he's wasted at Man United. Um, could Moyes get a tune out of him? If you roll back 11 months ago to the Jesse Lingard thing, when we looked like we was going to sign him, many West Ham fans said, "Oh, what do you want him for?" All he does is like an Instagram and social media and YouTube and shit like that. And look how he performed. Um, there's a different weight of expectation from Manchester United to West Ham. West Ham is a club where at present there is no pressure. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying the ride that we're on, but we want to get better. I haven't heard that rumor, Scott, about Seville, but I'm just putting it out there. If he don't fancy Spain, come over to West Ham. Really do. And yeah, like we need to just go and get some players. Like, there's no two ways about it. I want to see 4 players in the January window. I think that's a must. I think if we sign 2, it ain't enough. It really isn't enough. We need a striker at this club. There's no two ways about it. We need a left back, and we are desperately in need of centre halves. So, for me, the Alex Crowell thing is interesting because don't be surprised if his loan is terminated at the end of in January. Don't be surprised at all. I feel that maybe they're going to let him go because I just don't see how he fits anymore. Do you know what I mean? You got Mark Noble in there, you got Lanzini, you got Fornells, you got Souček, Rice. Where does he play? And I just think, in one ways, I do feel it's been a bit of a wasted sign. I do like Alex Crowell. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very good player, but some people just obviously don't see it. Scott says, me and Fever called it 18 months ago, but was told by 2 people he was useless. Yeah, Rico Emery, mate, is the man and as Scott says, rightfully so. I've been calling for this man for a long time. Walsall player in League 2. Went up to Brentford, absolutely tears it up for Brentford. And he's a sort of player that I'd love at West Ham. Fast, reliable, excellent crosser of the ball, always direct, always going forward. And yeah, I'd love Rico at the club. I really would. Obviously, I'd love his strike partner and all. I know Evan Tony, but that costs money. Obviously, I've seen what Cyber's saying in the chat. Herzeg, is it? Decent player. But can we rely on a 19-year-old to come in and do a job? That's the question. The answer to that is, if we're going to go and sign a 19-year-old on loan and he's going to be our backup striker, then we've got problems because we can't expect this kid to come in and hit the ground running straight away. Look at Vlasic. I don't want to dig out Vlasic at present, but it took him 5-6 months to be the player that everyone was raving about. And he's only starting to perform now. So I think Helzek or Horzek, whatever his name is a good player, but I think he's a sort of player you bring in and you develop over time. But we need a striker in our ranks now. That's the problem. So for me, I don't know about that one. I keep hearing about the Leverkusen striker all the time. The Czech striker. Is it Click? Is it? Or Lick? Or I can't remember his name. For me, I think he's a great player. Or Patrick Click or Lick or whatever his name is. But yeah, I liked him. I watched him in the Euros, and I thought he was phenomenally good for the Czech Republic. We bring him in, then we're talking business. But yeah, we will see in the January window. But the final thing from me when it comes to the transfers, before I wrap this up, the owners have got to step up. There is no 2 ways about this now. They have to step up to the plate. Look at West Ham. Look where we are in the league. look where we are in the Europa League, and invest some money and give Moyes a decent budget. I keep hearing the same old crap from people and stuff. Oh, January ain't a good window. Like, you can't go and get the players you want. I'm sorry, Virgil van Dijk was signed um, on the 1st of January a few years ago. Nice one, Mark. I really do appreciate that, mate. I was butchering his name everywhere. Very, very good player. Nice one, Mark. Thank you. And the owners have got to step up. They really have. We could possibly do something this year. We're at the League Cup. We're still floating around the 5th, 6th position in the Prem. And the way I look at it is, if we're going to progress this season, right, we have to sign some players. Obviously, we've got a scout now. Let's hope the scout is out looking. Whose name's evading me. I completely forgot his name, but we need this chief scout to go out and basically find some players, because we need them. And also, the final thing from me, I know I'm rambling on a bit, but I don't want our ball to be penny pinching over a few million. Because if that is the case, then I'm sorry, they deserve all the abuse that they get from the anvil. Heard we are in for some Armenian who plays for Boca Juniors. I keep hearing a lot of Americans and the Canadian and who's the other one? Jonathan David. I keep hearing a lot about, and I've seen a little bit of him. He's decent. Was it Weston McKenna? Another one I keep hearing. His name keeps getting branded about all the time. But yeah, if we're going for an Armenian in Argentina, blimey, do you know what I mean? That's unique. But I've got John from Thailand. I hope you are well, John. January transfer window will tell you all you need to know about Moyes and the board's ambition. Totally, 100% agree with you, John. I really do. It's a major window. I sat on Hammer's chat this time last year, and they was all speaking about the January window, how important it is, etc. And I turned around and I said that if we don't get a striker in the January window, then I don't see us getting Champions League. Jesse Lingard come in and he turned out to be amazing. But yeah, again, that was just a freak of nature from him. But I do agree with what you just said there, John. It's all about ambition. Let's have a look. What else we got here? I'll just see a comment which I'll get on to in a minute, Todd. Don't worry, mate. I'll get to your comment. I know you're going to come at Daya, so yeah. Any Moyes wants Deeney from Everton. Good player, mate. Ex-Barcelona player. French left back. He's played with Zuma in the French national team. No brainer for me, mate. It really is. Get him in. Get him in. If you can go and get him, then great. Todd. I wonder if Daya will still call Vlasic a flop. I'll be honest with you. I spoke to Daya earlier. Daya said exactly what I knew you'd say. He turned around and said, basically, he said he scored a tap in, James, in the 93rd minute. Let's see what he does when we need him in games when there is no Ben Rama, there is no Fornells, and he plays a lot of minutes. Time will tell. But one thing Dad did say, I've got to give him his credit. He said, fair enough, he scored a goal and it'll do his confidence the world of good. And I do agree with him on that, 100%. And that is it. That is it for the comments. Get some players, West Ham, is the final message from me. Please. January's coming. And yeah, we need to see some investment in this club. Also, before I go, anyone who's still watching this right now, I am going to do a year review from 2021. It's been an amazing year this year, and me and Effa spoke briefly about it earlier on. And this time last year, we We started off the year very well. We won 4 games in January. We looked very, very good. We've had some amazing games this year, when I think about it, the Arsenal home game, that's the best 30 minutes I've ever seen West Ham play in my life against Arsenal, when we blitzed them 3-0. And all that. The Leicester game, the Wolves game, Jesse Lingard's debut at Villa, to name a few. Benny's performances in certain games last year. Benny scoring his first goal against Brighton this year. What else was there? There's been some good, outstanding moments for West Ham this year. Declan Rice progressing. Obviously, it's been a hard year for everyone, as I say it every single time, because it has, like, with a global pandemic and lockdown and people. But West Ham has driven this club forward, like, and helped fans of our club, so to speak. And when I look at the games this year, there's been games which absolutely killed me. Newcastle away game will haunt me for a long time. The 3-2, Craig Dawson getting sent off, and just a collapse in that game. The Arsenal game will hurt me in another way. It's the best 30 minutes I've ever seen West Ham play. But the 45 minutes in the second half was the worst I've ever seen West Ham play, when it was all over the place defensively. But that was sort of last season going into this season. This season so far, we've played pretty well in spells. We've lost some stupid games though. Brentford at home, Southampton at home, to name 2. We've drew with Brighton at home, which is a team we just cannot beat. But then we've done some great wins. We've beaten Tottenham, we've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Man City in the Carabao Cup at the LS. And we've played pretty well against the top teams, but a bit hit and miss against the lower league teams. So, in all, it's been an amazing year for West Ham. It really has, as a club and as a fan and a supporter of this club. It's been very enjoyable. Now, come 2022, I want us to go up another little bit of a level. I don't want it to be, it's just enjoyable. It's just good. I want it to be better than good. I want it to be great. Then I want it to be top class, so to speak. So, yeah, 2021 in the whole has been eventful. It's been enjoyable. Beating Spurs at home in both times this year has been magical. I hate them with a passion. And yeah, we've seen some master strokes from Moyes. We've seen some howlers from Moyes, but he's doing a good job. But the stubbornness with him has got to sort of cut out. When something is not right, he needs to change it faster and quicker, and get it sort of done quicker, and not worry about, like, he seems to sort of give people benefit of the doubt too much. It shouldn't be. He should go, you know what, let's change it now because it ain't right. And so I will probably do a little review. So keep an eye out on that on E20 Zone TV from me. Anyway, that has been my late night live. I thought I'd do one because I crashed out earlier. I woke up, I was wide awake. I thought, you know what, I'll do a little live. I want to thank everyone who's been in the chat, who's contributed in the chat. I really do appreciate it. I'll go through your comments before I wrap it up. Let's have a look. Scott says, great show as always, Theo. Thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate it. What happened to give players a year to settle in like the old days? Todd, you can give players a year to settle in, but he's a £33.5 million player, mate. Took him 6 months to sort of even get on the pitch as good as in the Prem. So let's hope he performs from there on. Let's just hope it ain't the only goal he scores. Let's be like that. Did you keep a record of your refs ratings this year so we can see who's the best and worst? It's been some absolute howlers, John, I must admit. I wouldn't even like to say, but I agree with what Tom said earlier. The referee standard in the Premier League at the minute is absolutely woeful. And they should be on a level basis where if they don't perform, they drop down a level. They get away and murder the refs. They really do. I wonder if Moyes will reward versus with a start, possibly. John says, good show. Joined late, but we'll watch all I'm buzzing. Come on, you irons. Jay Woods, hope you are well, mate. I really do mean that. Anyway, that's enough from me. If I don't see any of yous and I don't do the show in time for New Year, I want to wish everyone a happy New Year. As I say, life goes on, COVID, death, life, but we're all together. We're all West Ham. We've all got to enjoy it because life's just too short at the end of the day. It really is. And basically, let's hope for a better 2022, health wise, and for everyone's life. Do you know what I mean? Because this is hard times, mate. With all this, it really is. Like you start seeing things, and let's just hope that football don't shut down because of COVID. Basically, we've been very blessed because West Ham hasn't been hit with COVID, and we've only had one game really postponed, where other teams have had 2, 3, or 4 games. So, yeah, let's hope for a positive 2022, and let's start off with some signings for sure. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's enough from me. Much love, all the best, and come on, you Irons.